But we'll go ahead and get started. Just so you guys know, this is about our new and improved student progression plan. I hope that this will be an improvement for everybody who is interested in the student progression plan. We will go over a few things in regards to it. So, first of all, if you guys, of course, a lot of these expectations fall on me, but make sure that you can hear me okay. If you do have trouble, please let me know. I will entertain questions along the way and at the end as well. For some reason, I cannot make this larger. So if there's anybody who does have questions, just know that I'll probably have to go back and forth a little bit. Just so you know that my name is Carla Owens. I am.
Let me pray.
Is there a question? Oh, okay. I am one of the directors in student services. I am the director for elementary and middle school for academic services, and that includes the student progression plan for elementary and middle. However, I work very closely with our high school team, and our director for our high school team is Sasha Russ. So the student progression plan really falls on us to put it together, but not necessarily all the information belongs to us. And we'll go over that a little bit more in just a second. We'll also go over just kind of an overview of the plan so that you can see it. And then what's new about it, because there are some really cool new things about it as well. And then we will also talk about what's included and do a little bit more of a deeper dive as well. Okay, so let me go ahead and move forward. One thing about WebEx is I can never figure out how to make this big. But okay, we'll figure it out. So the student progression plan, just so you know, excuse me, involves any criteria, any rules, and or policies that allows a student to move from one grade level to the next, and then eventually, of course, graduate. So we involve anything that has to do with grades, assessments, promotion requirements. All of that is included in our student progression plan. It does not include attendance because attendance is not part of it. There is, of course, a policy for attendance. It doesn't include discipline because discipline is not part of a student moving from one grade level to the next. Okay? In the past, we had a policy, just a policy itself, that included all the criteria of the student progression plan. However, what we've done now is we still have the policy because that is something that is required by our Florida Department of Education, but we also have the handbook as well, okay? The handbook is what you guys are really going to be interested in. The handbook includes any Florida Department of Education policies, and we kind of organized it for you guys so you can see it. Statutes, rules, anything of criteria for that involves student progression. Now, just so you know, remember I said earlier that my team works on pulling all the components together to create a student progression plan. However, we do not necessarily write all the information in it. We talk to all different departments. We talk to the ESE department, multilingual department. Yes, Natalie, there'll be a link in 1 second. I'm just kind of giving you an overview real quick, and then I'll give you a link. Okay, I did see that question pop up. So if I miss some other questions, I apologize. As well as other departments, research and measurement and accountability. We will go over all of those different pieces within the student progression plan as it affects a student moving from one grade level to the next. Once we pull it all together, then, excuse me, all of a sudden I have to cough. We have executive leadership to look it over. That includes, of course, our superintendent, our deputy superintendent, and all of the chiefs. And then once they approve it, we kind of go back and forth and kind of tweak things as they see fit. Then we have to present it to the school board. The school board then makes their suggestions of changes that may need to be added or removed. And then once we finalize everything, then they approve the student progression plan. And we will take a look in 1 second at the student progression plan. But first, let me tell you a couple of things. The student progression plan is now a handbook instead of a lengthy policy document. We used to have a policy document, believe it or not, that was 178 pages. It was massive. It had a lot of information that was redundant. We had a lot of information that really wasn't part of a student moving from one grade level to the next. And then also, we wanted to get rid of it and streamline it a little bit so that it's simple for you as parents and guardians to review and look at. So now it's 78 pages, believe it or not. And we think we've done a pretty good job for our first go round, okay? I will show it to you in 1 second, but you'll see a table of contents that has hyperlinks to it, so you can go directly to the elementary section, for example, directly to the high school section. And then there are also, of course, hyperlinks within those sections as well. There are hyperlinks throughout the entire student progression handbook that gives you the state statutes as well, okay? And what we've included now is this. Instead of having one massive document, we've made sections. We have basically section 1, which is an intro section, but then we get into sections 2 through 6, and they, of course, are directly related to the grade level of the student. Section 2 is a comprehensive section because there are a lot of things that pertain to all of our students, pre-K through 12. For example, grades, assessments, all of that. If you have a gifted student, they might be in elementary, middle, or high. So gifted students are included in the comprehensive section, okay? Then we have a section 3, which is the elementary section. That section deals with pre-K through grade 5, and it does give specific information such as third grade promotion, good cause requirements, that kind of thing. Also, of course, if your students have reading or math deficiencies, what the state requires us to do, okay? And then also section 4 deals with middle school. Section 5 has high school. High school, of course, you know, graduation is there. So we have a lot of information about graduation requirements, Florida Bright Futures, and so forth. And then we have another section called the adult education section for students who are going to our technical colleges. So that's just in a nutshell what we have, and we'll take a deeper dive into what's going on in each one of these sections. This is the link right here. However, I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to stop 1 second. Put the link in the chat. First, I want to show you how you can access it, and I did want to pop this up too as well. So this is the OCPS webpage right here, okay, our OCPS.net, okay, right here, OCPS.net/home, the home page. If you go straight to current families, and I'll say this really slow just in case people are following along, but if you go to current families and click on that, you'll see the student progression plan right under quick links. So again, just in case you guys, I will give you the link, but just in case you're following along with me, OCPS.net, the homepage, go to current families, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th tab. If you click right on current families, it'll take you down to quick links, and you can click on the student progression plan here. I will, I'm going to stop just for a second sharing my screen so I can make sure that I give you guys that link.
Hi, Carla. I dropped the link in for you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And
Okay.
no problem. I do know there are some folks that are asking about an access code if you're trying to call in. That's no problem. When you go to switch audio and you click on call in, you're going to be able to see your attendee ID number, okay? It also will be in your email. Okay, but I will also post that information in the chat. Thanks, Carla.
No worries. Thank you. Okay, so awesome. So I'm going to go back and share my screen again. Okay. So this is the student progression plan, as you can see right here. Let me know if you can, or let the my co-host know. I love having a co-host. If you can't see it. It is a PDF, so you can, of course, as I said, download it as a PDF. You can do that Control F and just put in graduation requirements and things will pop up for you for that. Or you can use the hyperlinks that I'm about to show you. So the table of contents, as I said, is full of hyperlinks. So when you go into the table of contents, you can actually click to any topic that you're interested in. So let's say, for example, well, Carla, I need to know about grades for all of our students. So grades is included in our comprehensive information. So if you click on grades, it'll show you the grades that are awarded to students, okay, for K through 12. All right, because pre-K students, they don't get grades just yet. So K through 12 and the grades that they are awarded. And then it can go into, of course, for those of you who are have secondary students, GPAs and how those are awarded as well, okay? If you notice throughout this, as I said earlier, there are links to different statutes. You can click on the link and it will, of course, take you to the statute that refers to, for example, in this case, GPAs, okay? And how to assign grades to secondary courses. We also have links that will help you out when it comes to, let's say, for example, AP, IB, ACE. Those are different courses that students can take for an acceleration pathway. And so we do have, of course, links to those specific sections within the student progression plan, okay? And I'm going to scroll back up. This is the one thing I know we are going to improve on is maybe have a quick link on each page to the table of contents. So you don't have to scroll up and down back to the table of contents. Another cool thing to look at under the comprehensive information section, remember I said that is for pre-K through 12 students. You can look at gifted information, our students with disabilities, virtual school opportunities. Let's click on virtual school opportunities. It'll talk to you a little bit about the virtual school programs that are available. We do have OCPS, which is listed here, Orange County Virtual School, Florida Virtual School, and then we also have a link to the Orange County Virtual School website. And I'm just going to click on that just so you can see it. See? So it's there for you, so you can click on it right away and see it, okay? One other thing I wanted to kind of point out, which I really think is cool, is our magnet school opportunities. Each one of our schools are listed who have magnet programs. So then once these are links to their actual web pages. So you can see, for example, Hungerford offers the Advanced Curriculum Academy. We have a STEM magnet at Orange Center that you can look at. Different elementary schools that offer two-way dual language and so forth. So you see right here, we have magnet school opportunities at different middle schools and high schools as well, right? And it'll take you directly there. If we went back to the table of contents, and I hate to make you seasick, but we're scroll sick. I'm going to scroll back up to the table of contents, and I'm going to show you a couple of other things. I lost my table of contents. There we go. So we have other sections too. So for those of you who have elementary students, we have, of course, our curriculum and progression here. So you can see our elementary curriculum if you wanted to. And then information about reading and math deficiency is listed, as well as the promotion requirements. We do really pay close attention to our third grade students because that is definitely state statute. So, for example, if you wanted to look at the elementary curriculum, you can see the courses that are offered at each elementary school. We do offer, of course, English language arts. We offer intervention courses for our reading and math subject areas. We have, of course, math that we have that is not intervention, but separate from that, just like ELA, science, social studies. And it just depends on the depends on the model, if they're departmentalized or not, whether the number of minutes that they offer each one of the courses. Okay. So I just kind of wanted you to kind of get a little bit of a sneak preview of what's in elementary world. Okay. And if we go back up to the table of contents one more time. We do have, of course, our middle school curriculum and progression that you're more than welcome to look at as well. And then if you notice, our high school section is full of information because that's when, of course, everything kind of comes together, right? So you have graduation requirements, and I'll go ahead and kind of go to the graduation requirements. The state of Florida, of course, had graduation requirements for students who entered grade 9 before the 23-24 school year, and then they switched them up. So now, or they added more to it, and I can tell you exactly what was added just in a second, of students who move on from the 23-24 school year and beyond. So let me show you this one real quick. As you can see right here, this is our graduation requirements for those that were prior to the school year of 23-24. Okay. And then if you scroll down, you'll see what our students have for those that are entered into 9th grade during the 23-24 school year and beyond. One thing I can tell you is that this financial literacy piece is one thing that was added by the state. So you'll see a difference there. Usually that's basically it. There might be a little bit of an adjustment to the elective credits as well. Okay. It talks about our graduation assessments. So as I said, the high school portion is really chock full of stuff, right? It's got a lot of things in it. But we do make sure, as I said earlier, that we always refer to statutes whenever it is provided to us. The one thing I wanted to mention about these statutes too, sometimes the DOE will say districts are allowed to come up with their own policies, but they need to have a policy. So in that case, there might not be a specific statute that says, okay, it has to be, 1, 2, 3. But it could say a district needs to come up with this policy. And that statute should be referred to in the student progression plan. Another thing I like to point out are our standard diploma pathways that you can see here as well. The pathways usually are, of course, students who are getting into the 24 credit option or the 18 credit option. And you can see those here. There is also an IB curriculum, CTE pathway that you can, for those of you who are interested in that, as well as ACE, which is our Advanced International Certificate of Education curriculum. And there's information that we link throughout so that you can see, go back to that and not have to go back to the table of contents. Okay. We have diploma designations as well. So here again, for those of you who are looking for a scholar's designation, we have the requirements listed here. And then we also have the industry scholar designation as well. One thing I wanted to show you guys, and I'm going to go back up just a second. I hate to, well, maybe I can scroll down. Let's do a Control F. All right, and I'm going to put in bright futures. So you see here, you can, of course, do that as well. Bright Future, of course, you can just click right here and go to the link. And you can see all the information about what is needed for Bright Futures, all right? Because a lot of parents are interested in that, okay? So here's a lot of information regarding that, and then the statutes that are included in it, okay? Our last section is our adult general education section. This again, remember I said, is about our students who go on to take courses and things at the technical colleges, that the adult education programs that are technical colleges. So this is also, when I click the link, it does not show this document. Marielle, did you see that? I hope maybe you can.
Yep, I'm on it.
Okay, thank you. And then, of course, you can see right here all the information about adult basic education. Okay. And then the last part, remember I said we streamlined quite a bit. So now we have our appendices, and our appendices really do capture just a couple of things. First of all, it captures our magnet programs. Remember, I mentioned them earlier, but I really wanted to go into, I really wanted to show you guys exactly what is involved, what they offer in the magnet program. So for example, if we were looking at the aviation and aerospace magnet program at Sally Ride Elementary School, it would take you to that web page. But then it also gives you a description of the magnet program itself. Okay.
Carla,
Yes.
if you go to the top of your screen, you're gonna see like a plus sign and it says 100%. If you click the plus sign a couple times, I think it'll make it a little easier for them to read the description if they're on a mobile phone.
Absolutely.
Yes, perfect. I can see it's great now, and I'm sure they can too. I totally agree with you that especially elementary magnets are some of the best kept secrets in our district, so I don't want to have them miss out.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you for pointing that out. So of course you see here that we have the descriptions of the different magnet programs that are available at our elementary schools. But we also have descriptions that are available for each one of our middle schools too that offer a magnet program. Quite a few of them offer Cambridge. IB is here as well. We do have an Academy of Arts program that is here. That, of course, is something that's offered at Howard Middle School. They have a phenomenal program as well. So all of these really do have some great specific interests that maybe your student, maybe your child may be interested in taking. There's a World Language Academy, and a lot of times at the Lakeview Middle School World Language, we're talking about AP Spanish that they'll end up taking, or French. So they have kind of a leg up on their peers when they get to high school because they are familiar with and really can know the Spanish or French language. So we really do want to make sure we capture that. And then our high school programs, of course, have different avenues that you can take as well. Academy of Culinary Arts at Wekiva. We have Junior Achievement, the 3DE at Oak Ridge. We have Agri-Science Academy as well. So you'll see as you go through this, a lot of the different programs that are offered at our schools. Okay. One cool thing that has just really gotten off the ground and it's really, I think they're maybe in their second or third year, is the First Responder Academy. I think they're second or third year, yeah. At East River, that is something to take a look at as well. Okay. And then the last appendix that we have here is basically when you go to the DOE and you kind of type in graduation requirements, it gives you, of course, these kind of what I consider flyers, right? All the information of what students and parents need to know about graduation. This one, of course, are for students who enter ninth grade prior to 23-24. And then also afterwards. So entering grade 9, I'm sorry, it continues because it's 2 pages. And then those that enter grade 9 in 23-24 and thereafter. So it gives you all of the information required for entering ninth grade and graduating high school. So it gives you, of course, the 18 credit or the 24 credit option. It gives you the CT Pathways option if you're interested in that. Remember, I said it gives you all of the requirements for graduation now. The financial literacy is new. And then it talks about our state university systems. It talks about those scholar designations that I mentioned earlier that's in our student progression plan. So you'll see a lot of information when it comes to these flyers, okay? So I'm going to stop right now and just see if there are any questions that I may have missed.
There's a great question about the ESE section of the document. Do you think you could pull that part up? Griselda was hoping to see the section on ESE.
Sure.
While she's doing that, there was a great question about dual enrollment that came up. There is a fantastic section of this document on dual enrollment, and I've also placed the link to the dual enrollment website in the chat. Dual enrollment is available in our district as early as 6th grade for students who are ready for that, though it is much more common in high school. And the best contact for that would be your student's counselor. At the school. You might think of it as a guidance counselor, but we call it a school counselor now, and they would be able to give you the information on how to apply for that in the spring and what the schedule for that would look like, okay?
So this is the section on students with disabilities that you can see here. We do also have a separate ESE document, a handbook from my understanding. So not every single piece of information for students with disabilities is listed here, but it does give you quite a bit. So it talks about who's responsible for it. There is a handbook that pertains to the student progression plan. So we talk about the promotion and retention of students with disabilities. We make sure that is here, as well as discussing the statewide standardized assessments of what the students with disabilities have to take and the waiver information that may be given to a student based on their IEP. There is also transitioning planning for post-secondary education that we have with our students with disabilities. And then we do talk about a little bit about the Access Points curriculum that is involved with our students with disabilities as well. And I'm just kind of trying to scroll slowly, but feel free to ask questions along the way for that.
We will definitely make sure to email everybody on this call with a link to the Student Progression Plan Handbook, which is so great. I can personally remember when it was a billion pages, so this is exciting. Um, and we'll make sure you get a PDF copy of that. Carla, there was another question here about, is there a section of the handbook that identifies any scholarship programs that our students can take advantage of? And I'm wondering if they're talking about the Hope Scholarship or any of the school choice type scholarships.
It's not in the Student Progression Plan Handbook, but it's not something that we can't do because scholarships are, how do I say it? There's so many of them. So it's kind of hard to keep a list of it, and they change from year to year. So in fact, they change from season to season, to be honest with you, because it depends on, for example, there might be smaller scholarships from different organizations that are provided to students. I will tell you that if you contact your high school, contact, of course, one of the school counselors, high school counselors, they will be able to send you the information on scholarships. But it does change very often. The list is never the same.
There is, however, a great resource on our website on scholarships. And I'm going to hope that I can pull it up for you guys. Our team is so amazing. Carla is so humble, but they do a scholarship bulletin that comes out every single month, which is just amazing. And the most recent scholarship bulletin I'm going to post here. This one just came out on December 18th, and I have a junior this year, and so that's important for our family as well. And that is something that you're able to, if you go to that site and you want to kind of subscribe, that is also something that you would get through your school counselor. But there is a monthly scholarship bulletin that is sent out by our school counselors to all high school students.
Thank you, Muriel. I didn't know if it was posted to the public, so that's why I'm glad that you found it. Thank you.
I'm trying to be a good wing woman.
You're doing a fantastic job.
Isabel, you know what? We will. I will get with Carla after this, and I'm gonna download the chat, and I'll take all of the questions that you guys had, and we'll make sure that we can tell you the page numbers that they're in the Student Progression Handbook. But we can also make sure that we give you like the corresponding websites to those departments because it is challenging for sure as a mom of four, I know, to get all of that information there. So I absolutely get it. Um, okay, there is another question here about, let's see. Oh, this is a great question. And you know, this I don't know, Carla, if you'll know the answer to this one, but this is about some of our elective classes that we offer at the high school level and middle school level. They are wondering if we have ever considered offering Portuguese as an elective because Broward and Miami-Dade are now doing that in addition to Spanish.
That's a good question. I will have to talk with the multilingual department about that. I know that we do have a high population of Portuguese speakers, so I will definitely find out.
Perfect. See, you never know, parents. You could be giving us great ideas right now. I am going to see though, I know there was a question about I believe you're talking about the Hope Scholarship for ESE students. So let me look for that information really quickly. I don't have that with me, but I'm gonna look for it.
Mariella, I'm assuming the scholarship newsletter is available to anybody, correct?
Yes, it is, and it is actually that's what I was looking for. I'm gonna put the link in the chat, but we will certainly send this to you guys. It's on the Academic Services website, and here's the link. But yes, absolutely, guys. And if you are the proud parent of a high schooler, like I know I am, sometimes they do not share information the way we wish they would. But they do also get access to that, and it's normally posted on our high school websites as well. But every month we do put that out, and it's called that scholarship bulletin. So I posted that link there for you. But we will have that conversation. Let's see. If I'm interested, if I have a student that is a senior and struggling with reading, where do I find in the progression plan what his options are? So I'll have Carla share maybe what assessment options are available. Okay, and then let's see. I have a student attending a magnet program, do they have to attend the school? No. So magnet programs are essentially not at your home school. So really their purpose is for you as a parent to choose to send your parent to a different school, right? In most cases, parents provide transportation in that situation, but you do not have to go to the school. So let's say my daughter goes to Cypress Springs. If I want to go to the aviation magnet at Hungerford, I would apply to do that. And then that would be essentially a transfer. Okay, so we would transfer to that school and we would participate in that magnet program if we were accepted. So you do not have to live in that school zone to go to a magnet program. Let's see. Can I have a link to Skyward to access? Yes, absolutely. I will post the link to access Skyward. And thank you, Isabel. You can also access Skyward on any of our school websites by going to the main page and clicking on the parent portal or clicking on Skyward. Oh, perfect. I see a question here. I have a second grade student who is asking about the universal testing for gifted. I'm sure that's covered in the handbook. Can you tell us where that might be, Carla?
Sure, it should be in the gifted section, because we do have a section completely for gifted. Pulling it up.
I'm loving all this interaction, guys. It's always boring when we're talking to ourselves. So Carla and I are thrilled you have so many questions.
One thing I will say, you know what? The reason why it's not completely there is because we do have a policies and ESC policy and procedures document. Let
Okay.
me share my screen real quick so you can see the link. So if you click on this link, it might give you more information about the universal screening. Remember, again, I said that with departments such as ESC, attendance, discipline, they have their own handbooks. So we wanted to make sure everybody went to those specific departments for their handbooks. So if you click on this by including it by clicking on the OCPS ESC student education policies and procedures, then it will talk about universal, hopefully it'll talk about universal screening there. If you find that it doesn't, then please feel free to reach out to your school and we can kind of figure out what's going on. Okay? Because our gifted section is very short and that's intentional, to be honest with you, only because we wanted to make sure that everything specifically for our ESC and including our gifted students have, of course, everything in the student education policies and procedures document.
That makes perfect sense. If you do have additional questions, as she said, every one of our departments does have their own website. There is a gifted website as well, and they have a great FAQ page that addresses this. So I'm going to put the link there. And yes, we will absolutely send out that link afterwards as well. I'm sure you guys are clicking through as quickly as possible. But you will be able to be notified by your school about the universal screening. So if you have a child that's in second grade, for example, I know my school principal just sent out information about that. So if you are looking for that information, just be looking out over the next couple weeks or even month, and they will be sending that information out at your school level. One suggestion we have is for a future iteration is to have a section about international students who are interested in studying at a high school in Orange County, listing the schools who offer I-20 forms and student visas. That's a great question for student enrollment, but my understanding is that we, through our student enrollment office, we don't have only certain schools that take students. You would enroll in the area in which that student is living during that time, and then we would help facilitate that process. We also have a brand new OCPS Global Welcome Center, which is designed specifically to help families who are immigrating to the United States and have been in the United States for less than 1 year. If you haven't heard about that yet, that is certainly not the topic for today's conversation, but it is a wonderful resource for international families, and we will again share the link to that information. And it is located conveniently right next to our student enrollment building, so you can kind of get everything done at one time. Let's see. Will the slides be available? Absolutely. We will send you out a copy of the slides as a PDF so that you're able to view them easily. You'll get that at the email that you registered with, and so you should get that within 24 hours. I know I learned quite a bit today as well, along with the PDF of the student progression handbook. Let's see, Patrick, are there resources for summer school, advanced classes in middle school and in high school? I'm sure there's a section about summer school in this handbook, but generally the student progression plan, I'm sorry?
And no, there isn't a section for summer school. Because summer school, of course, changes from year to year. So we don't have a section for summer school, but we do have acceleration pathways.
Oh,
So,
perfect.
so that might help a little bit for your students that are in classes in middle and elementary. So how they can, different avenues that they can take for acceleration courses.
Okay, great. So again, Patrick, when you get that document, in that table of contents, we'll highlight what page that's on for you. And there are many acceleration pathways for students that parents sometimes are not aware of. They're not always the right fit for every single child, but it's great to know what your options are. And then you can check those out in the handbook. Okay. Just want to make sure I have hit everybody's. Okay, I see Beatrice had a question we didn't get to. And it says she's going to Innovation High School and she has to take a credit to graduate. Is she allowed to take online classes? So there are two different types of virtual school. You'll want to talk with your child's school counselor about that. But there are options for part-time enrollment at our Orange County Virtual School. For example, one of my daughters chose to take a health class online through our Orange County Virtual School, but then was on campus for the rest of the day taking other face-to-face classes. So there are many flexible options that may surprise parents, and we would definitely recommend that you reach out to your school counselor to see specifically what would be the best fit for your child. But yes, our high school students do have the option to take certain classes through Orange County Virtual School. Yes, acceleration pathways. It's always important to know the right words, Patrick, right? Okay. Oh, wonderful. We have another parent on here who's using Florida Virtual School to take French classes. I love it. Okay, we're back to the question about graduation. And I think what is probably concordance. Is there a section in the handbook that addresses that, Carla?
Yes, there is of concordance scores. Yes. If you go to the high school, and let me see if I can find it.
If you can share your screen, that would be great. So this is the answer for, let's see here, Isabel. So when you have a child, any child, right, who perhaps is not able to get a specific score on an exam, the language that we use is called concordance scores. And what that means is that there are other assessments, right, that can provide similar information about what students know and are able to do. And so that's what Carla can show you in that handbook.
The catch to this is that because concordance scores change from year to year and sometimes within the year, we do not have the actual scores, but we do have the actual other assessments that qualify. So if you have a student, for example, for grade 10 ELA concordance score, because grade 10 FAST is what's needed for graduation, then of course you can take the SAT, ACT, or the CLT, which is the classic literacy test. And you guys are testing me on my initials here. And then for Algebra 1 EOC, the comparative score, you can use a PSAT, SAT, ACT, or the CLT, or even the Geometry EOC. So sometimes, believe it or not, and I was one of those students where Algebra 1, the formulas and all of that, and really didn't get, click with me, but I love geometry for some reason. I have no idea. It's just how my brain works. But in any case, so now if they do well on the geometry EOC, that can be used to satisfy the Algebra 1 EOC. Now for geometry EOC, I can tell you right now, you need a level 3 for that. Although the other tests that are listed here, the ACT, and the CLT, would probably have to, check with your high school just to make sure that they can meet those actual scores. Here again, they change from year to year, so that's why we didn't, of course, put the actual score, because we know we would have to go back in and change it each year. So just reach out to your counselors and they will be able to tell you the actual score that is needed. So it's not just contingent on the grade 10 ELA. They can take the SAT or the ACT or even the classic literacy test.
So I saw, Isabel, that you mentioned that there was that maybe that's something your child has already explored. So definitely reach out to your school counselor. Our goal is for every child to find a pathway to graduation, and there are lots of different options. So we can definitely have that conversation with your school counselor. Okay. I know. I've had 2 children graduate high school, and it's stressful for each and every one of them in a different way. But, talk with your school counselor. If you haven't had an opportunity to meet with them face to face, I definitely recommend that you do that and have them go through those options with you. The information on skipping a grade, that is back to what we called our acceleration pathways. So when you look at that section of the plan, that's where it will give you information about the different acceleration pathways, and if skipping a grade is the right option for your child, what the process for that would look like. Okay. Giselle, any online classes for elementary school? So there are options for full-time enrollment with Orange County Virtual School at the elementary level, and Florida Virtual School does have certain classes that are available. For example, like a language class like Spanish, etc., that parents can elect to enroll their children into. And those are information about that is available again through your school counselor or certainly on our district website. Let's see. Does this handbook apply to charter schools? That's a great question, Carla, and I don't know the answer to that.
So yes, it does. But remember this, when it comes to course offerings, when it comes to charter schools, they can offer basically more course offerings than we can, only because of they have a little bit more flexibility as far as assessments are concerned. So some of it will apply, most of it will. For example, anything that has to do with graduation requirements and things like that, that definitely applies to charter schools. Because remember, as I said earlier, we do look at only focusing on what the Florida Department of Education requires, right? So they fall under the Florida Department of Education. So when it comes to graduation, promotion requirements, that type of thing, then yes, they do have to follow some of this that's in here.
Awesome. There was a question about adult language classes. We do offer adult classes to learn English. We have a fantastic team that supports that with multilingual, and they are offered at schools around the county, in addition to at the Global Family Welcome Center. And I did post the link there as well, and we'll certainly include that information for you. One thing that I would really recommend if you are a parent that is more comfortable in a different language, we have an absolutely phenomenal team of multilingual or bilingual parent engagement liaisons who speak Spanish, English, Haitian Creole, and Portuguese. And they can be reached and really utilized by any parent on this call to ask questions about the school district, but also about the services that we provide to ESOL students. So I'm going to provide information in the chat. I'll provide a phone number there for you for our multilingual services team. And then if you would like to reach out to them, you absolutely can do that and get some information about our school district in a variety of languages. Isabel, is your question about language courses? Yes, you can take Florida virtual courses year round. The courses that we provide for parents in the evenings are primarily focused on teaching English, and that is their focus. Yes, ma'am. Okay. All right. Well, everybody, this has been an absolutely fabulous session. And I am so grateful for all of your time, and especially grateful for Carla Owens and our student services team and academic services team for being able to share all of this amazing question with and answers with our parents. It has just been wonderful. For those who have not had an opportunity to participate in the full session, do not worry. We do provide a recording of these sessions on our OCPS Families YouTube channel. And our OCPS Families YouTube channel is available on YouTube, and you can just search OCPS Families and follow us. This recording will be posted in the next few days. And that is a great way for you to go back and review this information. And we'll post a link to the Student Progression Plan Handbook in the description of the video so that you can easily find that as well. For those of you who do have students who participate in the Exceptional Student Education Program, I do just want to let you know that on Friday, February 21st, Saturday, March 8th, we will be having an ESE transition fair, which is designed to help parents navigate the options outlined in this handbook between elementary, middle school, high school, and adulthood for their child. And all parents in the district will receive information about how to register for that event on Saturday, March 8th at Colonial High School, which is our ESE transition fair. So please check your text messages in the near future for that information. Additionally, for our high school families that are on the call on Friday, February 21st, we are so excited to be able to have our spring college and career fair, which will be happening at the Orange Technical College on the West Campus. And we will be welcoming all of our high school students and their families in the evening to talk to local and national colleges and universities and admissions counselors about planning for college. So again, check your email and text messages for that information. And last but not least, on Saturday, March 29th, we will be having a virtual Parent Academy conference from 9 to 12, which is focused on all ESE families, families of ESE students or students participating in special education, to be able to understand the resources that we have that are available to meet their needs. Again, thank you everybody for joining us this evening. We are so thrilled to have been able to spend this evening with you, and we hope that you learned a lot. Have a wonderful evening and be safe.